2 200-yard games, 8 100-yard games. He needs 468 yards to get to 2K in 3 weeks. It could happen. Do you view him as an MVP candidate? I'm naming him as an MVP candidate. He's third on my list. He would be 2 on my list, but I know how the NFL is with all these quarterbacks. He'll probably win Offensive Player of the Year award. He can run over you, through you, around you. I'm just preaching to the choir. Everybody knows he can do all this. How do you view Derrick Henry and his monster season?
Well, I know I said it last year, and I just want to say to everybody that I told y'all so, because when I did my top 5 running backs, everybody was tripping that I had Derrick Henry at number 1. Well, what about Christian McCaffrey? What about Ezekiel Elliott? What about Saquon Barkley? We know that it is Derrick Henry. You just put it into perspective for me, and that's really why I'm about to get hot on this. The fact that Derrick Henry, if Derrick Henry, I'm going to say it right now, when Derrick Henry rushes for 2,000 yards this year,
wow.
He's going to be the first player to do that since Adrian Peterson in the comeback year?
Yeah.
Perspective right there. Adrian Peterson, and I'll argue anybody on this, I was born in 97. Adrian Peterson is the best running back of my generation, without question. I know the last few years, but obviously, look, everybody knows after about 31 or 32 in the NFL, you're not going to get your big money. You're not going to be effective. But Adrian Peterson in his prime was the best running back of my generation. And if Derrick Henry can accomplish that, he's at 1,550 yards with 3 weeks left. He already has more yardage this year than he did last year. And I know he missed a game against the Saints, and I want to say he missed another one, but I definitely agree. Derrick Henry could be an MVP candidate unless he rushes for like 2,300 yards. Perspective. Unless Derrick Henry rushes for about 2 to 225 plus the next 3 games, he's not going to win it. He'll probably have to rush for about 2,300 yards just to be that legendary in order to win it over a Rodgers or Mahomes, because I hate it too, man. I hate it too. It's a quarterback award all day, and I absolutely hate it. And people were freaking out when I said, who was it? It was some award that I gave away, and people were talking about that it was a quarterback award, and everybody was just tripping out about it. And I was like, that sucks, dude. That absolutely sucks that it's a quarterback award, because you look at guys like potentially TJ Watt for the Steelers or Aaron Donald for the Rams, or guys that aren't necessarily talked about, but they do a lot for their team. Been forever since a defensive player. The last running back to win MVP, I want to say, was Adrian Peterson. So he'll have to do some magical stuff to win it, man. But absolutely, no question, an MVP candidate.
Man, to me, and it's not going to happen, like you said, but to me, if he gets to 2K, he deserves a split. We deserve a split.
Right.
He'll quarterback, if he gets to 2K,
2,300 yards, 2,200 yards, something like that.
Especially in this pass-happy league where guys are throwing 50 times a game. You got a guy like Derrick Henry. He reminds me of one of these old school backs, man. He reminds me of maybe 2005, 2006, 2007. And
yeah, dude.
The NFL has changed so much because you can't even really touch the receivers. They made it where everybody can really throw 300 yards if you throw enough times. That's where the league is. And you don't see running backs on a daily basis get 100 yards or even have 200-yard games. That's crazy to me. I think he has one
this year
more.
He's went over the century mark. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. I think he has one more 200-yard game in him. He won't win the MVP, but if he gets to 2K, I say he should split it with Mahomes or Rodgers, which shoot, they might split it if it comes down to the end. They're not going to do that, but that's what I would like to see, Adam.